So now we're going into 5.2 notes, and we are transforming exponential functions. So before we learned how to graph and write exponential functions, and now we are going to learn how they move up and down from their base or original or parent function, as they're called. So we are going to learn about two different things today. I zoomed out just to show you this. We have vertical translations and horizontal translations of graphs. And those are the two things that we're going to learn about today. So let's start with vertical. So vertical translations. So the first thing that I want to define is translation. So you can write this up in the corner. A translation is essentially a slide. So it's moving something. It's going to slide the graph. And vertical translation specifically is going to slide it up or down. So you know how we had our exponential functions that looked like this? Well, now we're going to move it. We might move it up, and we might move it down, depending on the graph. So we're going to look at f of x equals to the x. And this is our original function, or the parent function, as they're called. So this is our base function, and we're going to move this. And that is what is in black right here. So that's what the regular one looks like, and we're going to slide it up and down. And we are going to look at g of x equals to the x plus 3. And we're also going to look at j of x equals to the x minus 3. So the first thing I want you to do is take a look at our values here for y and compare the difference between the ones in our original function and then our new function. So to get from 1/4 to 1/3, what did we do? To get from 1/2 to 3 1/2, what did we do? And then so on. For each of these, what did we do? Well, each time we added 3, right? We add 3 each time for the y's. And so that means each one of our y points is going to be up 3. Our x values stay the same, but the y values go up 3, which we can see right here. They go up 3. So we start at our base 1, and we move up 3. Now there's another way to tell this without just looking at an x and y chart, and that's just by looking at our equation here. And what do we see at the end? A plus 3. So we can just look at our equation and see that we are moving up 3 units. So here we have the equation here, and this is the base equation for a vertical translation. And so we have our k at the end, and if k is positive, then we move up k units. Now let's look at the other one. How do we get from 4 to 1 or 2 to -1? Well, we're subtracting 3, right? And if we look up at this equation here, what are we doing? Minus 3 at the end. So if k is negative, it's just the opposite, and we go down k units. So it's the same thing here. So we're going down. And so that is for our vertical translations. The most important part here to remember is this right here. moving up and down when there is a k or a number at the end. Next, we're going to go into horizontal translations. And these ones look a little bit different. So for our horizontal translations, as we can see, our change is no longer at the end, but it is in the exponent. See that up here? See that h? And that is how we know that it is horizontal. So if there is a change in the exponent, that's how we know it's a horizontal change. And this is again a slide, but this time it's left or right. Now, be careful here before you just assume things or think that you know how to do this because of how we did it last time, because it's actually kind of opposite. So let's first look at g of x equals 2 to the x minus 5. If we can see in our picture here, we actually went 5 units to the right even though we were minusing. So when h is positive, we are actually going left h units. And then the opposite, for when h is negative, we will go right h units. So if we're looking down here at b, we go from 2 to the x to 2 to the x plus 3, so we go to the left 3 units each time. Okay, now we're going to put together what we learned, and we're going to do 4 examples here. And we're going to compare some graphs. So these aren't just parent functions anymore, but we have 2 translated functions. We want to see how they compare. So here we have f of x equals 10 to the x plus 9 and g of x equals 10 to the x plus 3. I'm just going to do a little sketch here to the side. And I know that my first one goes up 3 units, and then my second one goes up 9 units. So what is the difference between these two? We went up 6 units, right? Or if you're looking at this one as your first one and this one as your second one, we went down 6 units, but the difference is 6 units. If you have a graphing calculator, or if you want to use Desmos, so you can just Google Desmos. It's an online graphing calculator. You can enter these two in there, and you can see the difference, and you can see how they are 6 spaces apart, up and down. Let's look at B. So for our a to the x, or a of x equals 5 to the x minus 4, this one went, down 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and the other one goes up 6. So here we have 6, and here we have negative 4. So what is the difference between these two? How many tick marks are in between these? 10. So we went down 10. Okay, C and D have a change in what? In the exponent. So we're going to be going left and right. But remember, it's kind of opposite. So for this one, we're actually going left 10. And for this one, we are going left 3. So again, I can draw that as a visual here. I went left 10 and left 3 for 1. So what is my change here? Left 7. Okay, we have one more to try together. So here we went right 15, and on this one we went to the right 5. So I'm going to do a little sketch here. To the right 5 and to the right 15, and I want to see what's my difference here. How many spaces did I go? 10. I went right 10 spaces. So when you're doing these, when it says, how does blank compare to the graph of blank? This is your first one, and you're seeing from that one, how did we change to get to the next one? And this would be your second one, because you're comparing this one to the other function. So you have these for you to try on your own for homework. Just like we did above, tell me, did we go right, left, up, or down, and how many?